Hello, everybody, and welcome to another IGAA live interview. My name is Philip Carter, co-founder of the IGAA conference, and on behalf of myself and Brother Earl Bynum, Minister Earl Bynum, we welcome you to another broadcast of the IGAA conference. Hey, if you're an independent artist or you're somebody that is helping an independent artist, independent label owner, you definitely want to tune into this broadcast. My guest today is one of our clinicians, but he's been with us since the start. He's one of my good friends, and he is somebody that I can truly say has walked the walk and talked the talk, and has done things to help people unselfishly, sometimes to his own detriment, but he has come out victorious. Would you please help me welcome my friend and my brother, Henry Harris, to our broadcast today? Hey, Henry Harris, how you doing?
Hey, Phil. Good
Hey,
afternoon to you.
good
How's
afternoon.
everything?
Thank you so much. Look, I say it to your detriment because I understand what it's like to help people sometime, and and it just looks like the earth is crashing down on you because you say something that people need to hear. So I just want to just tell you, down through the years, I've appreciated your honesty and your willingness to stick your neck out for people that don't even know that they need somebody like a Henry Harris in their life.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we try. Absolutely. We absolutely try. And that's the key.
Yeah. So tell us, who is Henry Harris? What do you do?
Well, I do a variety of things. I know one year at the IGAA conference, I made the mistake of telling people that I was an artist and didn't even know it. And and I don't know why. I don't know why it came out the way it did, but I am I'll say I'm a semi-artist and a student of the business of music for, I guess, the past 20 plus years. What we do uh, right now is that we teach classes, we teach music business classes to help artists understand the business of music and help them to build that music business basic foundation. That's the crusade that I've been on. And in doing and in building that music business basic foundation, a lot of artists have come to me and I've turned it into a music consultation type practice as well. But for the most part, I'm a family man. Try to take care of my family, try to take care of the community, and try to help artists at the same time. So my hands are full.
Yes, they are. You've been I know about your family. You've been a champion of your family and taking care of your children, your wife, and all that you all have going on. Um, how do people sign up for your basic foundations class?
Well, the classes that we have are under the auspices of Strategic Music Partnership,
Mhm.
and it's also known as the Excellence in Music Academy program. On our website, there's a link to be able to participate in those programs, and the website is www.strategicmp.org. www.strategicmp.org. Now, when we first started the classes, of course, we were like most organizations, we would have the class maybe once a year, go through 2 or 3 months of class work and so forth, and then have an event, at the latter part of the year. But we have since, because of the pandemic and artists being in the conditions that they are, we realized that we need to have a multiple turnover. So we started having multiple classes during the year. But that's
Mhm.
how you can get involved.
So I put the website up here. If you all interested in joining his basic foundation class, I can guarantee you that it's going to help you get where you're trying to go, because Henry is very detailed, he's very thorough in all of his presentations, and he's very correct in his information that he gives. So if you haven't done so already, please like and share this broadcast. Let everybody know that I am here with industry veteran Henry Harris. I guess when we got started, I couldn't say industry veteran, but now he is a bona fide industry veteran in
Well,
many
hey,
different ways. You say
praise the
what?
Lord. I said, praise the Lord. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran.
You're a military veteran, yeah.
A military veteran and a music industry veteran. So,
What
hey,
what branch of service?
I served in the U.S. Air Force.
Well, thank you for your service.
And thank you.
Uh-huh.
And
So,
believe it or not, the music and stuff wasn't my chosen field because when
uh-huh.
I was in the Air Force, I was an aircraft mechanic. So, I kind of understand sometimes when we take trips and we're
Hmm.
flying and so forth, I understand that machinery, but that wasn't my chosen field. I don't know how I ended up on this side of the music.
Well, before we get into big help for independent artists, I just probably would throw it out there and say, I know it has to be challenging being in the military and doing the job that you did, but you picked an equally, if not more challenging job in trying to educate independent artists. What really got you into this?
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. This is a challenge on this side. Well, when I was running, when I came out of service, of course, and went through the various stations in life, I started a telecommunications business, and I'm a trained systems technician as well. But when I would take a look at the music, namely gospel music business, and I got
Mm-hmm.
involved with the Stellar Gospel Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got involved with the Stellar Gospel Music Awards, they said, "Hey, why don't you sponsor an event or sponsor a seminar or a training type event?" I said, "Okay, sure." So when I sponsored the event, they really didn't give me the whole day. They let me sponsor a piece of the event. And so when I participated and I saw the type of knowledge that was being presented after, the piece that I sponsored, I didn't think it was sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Stellars, of course, they asked me to serve on their first Stellar Gospel Music Academy Advisory Board. And when I got on the advisory board, it really opened up my eyes because the advisory board, of course, was stacked with true industry veterans at the time, people who were actually running record labels,
Mm-hmm.
they were on radio, they were doing all of these different things. And so here I am, an outsider, listening and seeing what was going on and how they were treating the up and coming independent and emerging artists. And I said, there needs to be a change. And so I sought that change and being the religious person I am with the Christian background, been in church all my life, I say, hey, this ain't right. Something ain't right here. So, in the spirit of Nehemiah, I said, hey, look, I need to do something. I need to help this community. I need to rebuild the walls of this community, especially gospel. And so I tried, and you know how hard we tried because we took a lot of punches. We
Mm-hmm.
took a lot of punches when we tried. We took a lot of hits, and they called us all kinds of names. And I'm talking about, and we're not going to call those people out right now, but we were called names by some of the biggest and the best people in the industry. You wouldn't
Yeah.
believe it. But, when I look back over that, it was a learning process because at this point, we don't wish any evil or bad on anybody, but at this point, they're really not doing as good, than some of the independent emerging artists, and a lot of that has been because of things that you put in place, things that I tried to put in place, and some of the other people. So that's how it's all started, and we've kind of been in it ever
Yeah.
since.
I would want the audience to know that it was because of Henry Harris that there are many artists that may not ever call his name that have benefited from the information that he's put out and from the sacrifice that he's made. And it's not just independent artists; some major artists too have
Yes.
benefited from his knowledge and just telling the truth and exposing what needed to be exposed, so people would know how to govern themselves as artists and as business people. Henry, let me just throw this out there. The title of this thing is "Big Help for Independent Artists." In your mind, in 2022. We are still in a pandemic. I don't care what nobody says. We are still in a pandemic. In your mind, what is the number one issue for independent artists right now?
The number one issue in my mind, and it's based on the evidence
Mm-hmm.
of things that are happening in the business of music,
Mm-hmm.
the number one issue is the legacy artists are not putting in place. And they may, you come out with a few songs or whatever, a few albums and put them out there and say, hey, I want this one to hit big, I want that one to hit big or whatever. But in the pandemic era, what I've seen, the business of music is that a lot of artists who have created the legacy that gospel independent emerging artists are not creating, they have been cashing out. They have been selling their catalogs.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is buying the catalogs. Why? Because the music that they've created in the past is coming back to the future. So if you don't embrace the future as an artist, yeah, a lot of people say, well, you got to build up this fan base and you got to do this and you got to do that. All that's fine. But at the same time, if you don't build that foundation where all of those pieces are working on autopilot, then you have nothing. Because I'll give you a good example. Bruce Springsteen, he only put out 9 albums. And I don't want to compare him to you or anybody else, Phil, but 9 albums for a lot of artists who work consistently is not that many albums. You agree?
Right.
He put out about nine albums, and you can go, you pull it up, look it up for yourself. But they paid him $600 million to buy his catalog.
Mm.
That's the thing you need to be paying attention to. So if you create a song, it's not coded properly, the codes are not assigned, you haven't verified any of those codes, you haven't gone in these various databases to see if they got songs that are double up on the coding and all that other stuff, all the stuff that we teach at the IGAA. If you don't do that, when they come looking to say, hey, can we buy this or whatever, then you're going to be in a fight because you may say you own this, and then there's another artist across the street that said, hey, I own a piece of that because my code is on that, but you didn't even know it. Right. So the people that's trying to buy you out or try to take a piece of your music, they'll just throw their hands up and go to the next artist.
I think that's pivotal what you said, and just to tag on what you say, Henry Harris has been with the IGA conference since its beginning, and he will be with us again this year, July the 7th through the 9th. 2022, IGA will be totally virtual. We want to encourage all of you all who are artists, who are looking to get into the business, who are just getting started, or those who've been hurt, to sign up. This is where you can either get your start or get the boost that you need with all the information involved to go and do what you need to do. Go to indiegospelalliance.com and sign up. Can you imagine going to a grocery store and you got all the groceries that you need in that store? When you leave, you can put in your car and go home and feed your whole family. That's what
right.
What this conference is. And then you can follow up the conference by signing up for Strategic Music MP and sign up for his Basics Foundations class, and that will help you throughout the year. So I wholeheartedly want to encourage all of you all to be a part of this independent situation. Don't just watch Facebook videos and YouTube videos. Get a coach, get a mentor, sit under some people and let them guide you where you would need to go. You mentioned legacy, and I've been talking about recently longevity. I feel like that artists are not interested in longevity anymore. It's about the single, it's about the online concert, it's about the viral video, but there's nothing, and this goes right along with what you're saying, there's nothing put in place to last. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, and I think we're in another kind of carousel right now because of social media, and I would say in an artist's misuse of social media, how it plays a role in their lives. And you can even include charts and things like that in that whole play as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They have bought into the short, what is it? Some people say short-term fix.
Uh-huh.
Feel good at the time. There's so many different, recognition platforms out there that will tell an artist, hey, you've done very well, and I'm going to say that you're artist of the year, but your music is 2 to 3 years old. But they don't understand that in the business of music, that once you pass 18 months or so, you're going into recurrent and gold. They won't even recognize you. So they won't even get you on the chart. Then you got a lot of artists that go and put out on social media because they I heard what you guys were talking about the other night when you're talking about being consistent and posting on social media and stuff like that. But see, a lot of artists will go and post on social media trying to be consistent and post some of the stuff without it being, 100% correct.
Mm.
In other words, you say, well, hey, look at me. I've charted. I'm number three on the gospel indicator chart for Billboard or whatever. First of all, that's a self-reporting chart. There's only about 12 stations on it.
Mm-hmm.
You're number three, but if you get X amount of spins on two stations, you could be number one.
Mm-hmm.
See, so you got to understand all of the dynamics that control this. And then you got the other folks over there fighting on the BDS 42, 43 stations where, artists, and like we talked last year at the IGAA conference, we talked about the fact that there was two African American female singers, strong artists, made number one at the top of the chart, but they only stayed there 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
they
correct.
stayed there 2 or 3 days because they didn't realize that if they had went back and checked their music and saw that they were nearing the date of being a recurrent or being in a different status, they could have fixed it. But they don't know how. So if they don't come to the conference or if they don't come to a consultant like you, me, and some of the others, they'll never know. And then when we go to them and we ask them, hey, can we help you? Well, my team did this and my team did that, and we tried, but you didn't try the right way because you don't understand the mechanics of it. And that's all I'm trying to get artists to do. Just understand the mechanics of it, then go after what you want to go after, but be able to put this stuff on autopilot so it will do what it do. And I got the diagram up, but if you ever want to show it, let me know. But um, this is where I feel that the artist is falling short. Yeah, they can be consistent. They can post on social media, but I learned a long time ago, and I think I learned that from you and some others because a lot of times I was consistent in posting on social media, but I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
I was posting angry. And I was posting angry, Phil, because I really didn't understand what was happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do that, then you're not looking for a longevity career on this music because and just look around. All I say to the artists, just look around you, and even when you're looking at television and you got restaurants playing songs like "Welcome Back, Carter." You
Mm-hmm.
know how old that song is,
Right.
but they're getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Where is your song?
Right.
Where are your songs on these commercials?
Yep. I will to add to that, you shared so much just now. When you start talking about charts and things like that and billboards, artists, for most artists, based on what they've seen in the past, that is the goal and the dream. And you're right; they should pursue that dream, but pursue the information that goes
Right,
along with that dream,
right.
so that you'll know exactly what you need to do to make the best of that effort that you're getting ready to
That's
put in
correct.
to try to, to understand that two reporting stations can make you number three or number one, is an advantage if you use it correctly.
That is
Because
correct.
this is my thing. When you put out something to the general public, all they see is number one.
Right.
It doesn't matter that there's
And
three
they
stations.
congratulate you. They
Yeah, yeah.
congratulate you all the way down the line.
It doesn't matter that there's three stations reporting. They don't need to know all that.
Right.
And 99% of people don't know that. All it matters is that you're number one.
Right.
Perception is reality, but then behind the scenes, that. Now, how do I build upon that? How do I make this whole scenario work for me? I was giving a an example the other day. Having smaller concerts, and having smaller venue concerts with a packed house. When you take a picture, all people see is a packed house. They don't
Right.
need to know that it's seated 35 people.
You
And they're
know,
gonna go ahead. I'm
that's
sorry.
right. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
That's all. They don't need to know that because they're not at venue. And
they're
at
not at the venue.
right. You went, and they're not at the venue, and they're not the application call at venue where you can see how many with that capacity, what the capacity of that facility is. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you mentioned before we started talking, you mentioned that, we were out at the community center,
Hmm.
nursing home and so forth doing the concerts, and you need to get back out there and do some more of that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, there are artists who can make their names and just make all kinds of relationships and so forth by going around just doing that stuff, going up to Children's Hospital on Christmas. Where are you? Where is the artist during Christmas time delivering toys or whatever and then singing to the children? Why does it always have to be the pop artist or the R&B artist doing all this? What is wrong with this genre? That's what we're trying to get people to think about. So yeah, there's a lot of fixes that need to be put in
Hmm.
place, and then we're not even going to talk about the organizations,
Right.
but the certain organizations need to take a stand and do certain things and so forth. But
Well, you're talking about motive and purpose, heart. You're talking about a lot. Why are you in this?
right, why
And
are you in it?
yeah,
Right,
why are you in? And a lot of people, everybody has their reasons, but you and I have seen down through the years that when you make those kind of calls to come to those places, some people will brush you off because there's no direct benefit to it, but they don't understand how the Lord works and the kingdom works and how things can multiply on your behalf because of your willingness to help the
correct.
least of these. So yeah,
That's
you're
that's
definitely right.
correct.
Yeah.
Because it can open up your eyes. In other words, when we did the event, it wasn't a big show. It's First of all, let's back up. Sometimes it's really hard to get artists to support, to go and do this, right? But
Hmm.
at some point, we gave the administrator of that facility the microphone, and he got on there and talked about his background. He talked about how he enjoys gospel music or whatever. He's from Detroit. He didn't know that this was going on down here because they didn't do that up there. You
Hmm.
say what? They don't do that up there, and you got all of these superstars up there.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? So it's not just confined to certain. It's like all over. And so what we're trying to do is just bring that to the attention of the artists without beating them up and without laying them out on social media and saying the blah 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 blah. Try to be more positive, Phil. And I guess what did it say? You catch more flies with honey or whatever than what, however that saying goes. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and and we know that everybody will take a look, but some will respond.
Yes,
And
yeah,
the more people
somewhere,
you can
right?
get to take a look at it, the percentage of who will respond goes up as well. And so
That's correct.
I applaud you for for making the adjustments that you need to make to do what you need to do because your system works, your program works. The people that you've helped work, the names that you couldn't mention that made it to the billboard, they got their, I know at least one of them got all majority of her information from Henry Harris. So things are possible for you independent artists. The big help that you need is the big help in information. And so that's why we encourage you to come to Independent Gospel Artists Alliance Conference, July the 7th through the 9th. It's online. It's going to be virtual. Spend the 2.5 days, take off from work, do what you got to do to make it here so that you can have the tools that you need. And then when you get those tools, you have to put those plans into action, and you need to be a part of some things all year long so that you can continue to build upon the information that you got. And one of them is Henry's organization, strategicmp.org. Look him up. And next time he has an opening for a basic foundations class, jump on in that thing
Yeah.
because I always love the IJ because it's a boost to lead you to something like a strategic MP where you can go in now. You're excited. Now let's go in and do the grunt work now with look, doctor, look, everybody in the black community, Dr. Henry Harris.
And let me also say something about the because the IGAA as well. Like some of the clinicians that you have
Mhm.
this year, especially I don't know Mike's last name, but
Mike Warner.
yeah, Mike Warner. Now, Mike Warner. See, this is what I want the artists to get from this. Hear what I'm saying. Mike Warner is going to be a clinician at the IGAA, and I'm a member of the MEIEA, which is the uh, Educators Independent Educators Association. Sometimes I get the name mixed up. Music. I'm sorry, music educators. But anyway, our convention. Well, they call it convention, but the virtual summit starts on Monday, and Mike Warner is a clinician there.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So when he comes to us, he's a clinician with us, and then I'm going to give you something else in reference to the IGAA. Before the MLC, which is a mechanical licensing collective, was put into motion, they made 2 stops over the gospel. They came to Let's Talk Gospel call, and they came to the IGAA. And she came to the IGAA twice, if I'm not mistaken. I think she came 2 years in a row, right, Phil?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they came twice. Now, follow what I'm saying. The people that put the MLC together were part of the National Association of Music Publishers, NAMP, I think that's what it is. And the executive director came to the IGAA and told us it was coming. She laid it out. She told you what to do. She said, join.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it happened, Phil, they took over hundreds of $millions in revenue. That's the revenue that Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all of those streaming services are required by law to now pay the MLC. So the money is over there. So we tell the artist, she came and told the artist, please join, please join. Well, now they're sitting on probably about almost $1 billion in revenue that they can't find the artist. It's on the website. They can't find the artist, so they can't even pay you. Because most artists in the circle that we have, gospel, some Christian or whatever, they don't even know what the MLC is, Phil. But if they came to the IGAA, they would have found out what it was. And then when I stood up and asked her that question that year in Chesapeake, you remember?
Yeah.
I said, well, what will happen to the money of the artists that you can't find? It's my understanding that the law says you have to divide it up among us. I'm a member. I think you're a member, Phil.
Yep.
But anyway, I don't have but one song. But according to the law, I'm going to get a piece of the money that you as an artist won't get.
That's correct.
Because you didn't come to the IGAA, you don't know how to join, you don't even know how the MLC functions.
We even had the CFO of CCLI
That's
at
correct.
our conference. A lot of people come to our conference, y'all. You won't see anywhere else because we are structured for this kind of learning and teaching. It's not a worship conference. We're not talking about how God's going to anoint you if you fall on your face and for an hour. This is a business conference to help you so that when you fall on your face for an hour, you can get up and have a check coming in the mail at the end of the week. So
Phil,
go ahead.
No, I'm saying you do something different though. Y'all do something different. Here's what you do. You seek out
That's correct.
those individuals.
That's correct.
A lot of these other conferences will say, hey, we'll just take, whosoever will. You seek them out. And they say, yeah, sure, we'll come.
Yeah. Mike Warner was blown away. The first time he came, he was blown. He could not believe. I think it was several things because, he's a Caucasian man. So he comes from a whole different circle. I think a couple of things he couldn't believe. One is he couldn't believe that we didn't know some of these things.
Right.
Two, I think he couldn't believe how hungry people were for information.
Right.
Like he was worn out. He was exhausted. He said he'd never been to a conference and been that exhausted because people were asking questions left and right about what we did not know.
Right.
And so he's intrigued every year coming back just to pour into us so we can catch up.
He's the ultimate streaming professional.
That's correct.
And you don't have to believe me. I know I can tell you what we used to say back in the day. You may not believe me, but believe,
Demand. What do you call him? Demand.
Yeah, believe the man because he tell you sit on the edge of your chair and you listen. When we tell you say, what time is break, man?
and look, you'll be there.
Yeah.
And Tamil Curtis would be there. She has turned into
Right.
the ultimate marketing, social
Yep.
media expert, branding,
Camille.
all different kind of things. Running a label, she's really branched off and just doing a whole lot of stuff. Of course, our regular team will be there. Robert, Simone, Attorney Garrett, Thomas Rollins. There'll be a lot of people there. You need to sign up, join, and be a part of the IGA conference this year. It is what you need. It's not a question of is this what you need, because even somebody like me who's been in here 20-something years, I need it. I need to hear what they have to say. We've had David Frazier, who we've had Moses Tyson.
Songwriter.
We've had
Yep.
all different people from all walks of life, all from radio to some of the most known radio services. I mean, that year, Henry, I'm gonna tell you, one year really sticks out to me, and you were on the panel. You and I used to have a good time about this radio panel. We we used to have a great. The radio panel was the hottest thing smoking
Yeah, the
every
radio
year.
panel was the hottest thing. You talking about some? Nobody. You didn't have to jump on chairs and fall on the table. And it looked like we was gonna get to stand up and throw chairs at each other.
One year, Tracy Artist was there. Moses Tyson, Sheila Bell. You
Yeah.
were there. All y'all, I believe, Mike Chandler. Everybody was on the front row in the hot
Right.
seat, sitting in chairs. And Moses and Sheila got to talk about what happens in the back room. Good God Almighty,
Right.
that whole conference
Right.
turned upside
And
down.
he was right, and I was determined to go back and do my homework and
Right.
find out whether he was right. And Moses was right,
Yes,
and and it's a proven factor. Okay,
right.
I mean, you come in, you learn the intricate details, Phil.
Right.
And I know you said you didn't want me to get into a whole lot of stuff that's going to throw stuff on the wall, but I'm just saying you learn. You have to ask yourself why, when we can look at a music log and see an artist being played 200 times overnight.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point? Who's listening?
Right.
Who's going to listen to a song on the radio back to back 200 times overnight? But this is how they get them to number one.
That's
But
correct.
you ain't gonna learn that unless you come and let people speak freely at this, at the IGA.
Yeah, and the IGA is no free. It's all real and raw. I mean, you get the
Right.
truth. I mean, one year I personally learned through some industry veterans about how some people, when Walmart was taking in product, how they would buy the product.
Right.
When it hit the stores, the actual artist or the company would buy the product back so that it would sell out, and then you would
Right.
tell everybody, "Hey, we're sold out," just
Right.
to create a new kind of buzz for the product. And then Walmart comes and orders double the number, because with Walmart, whatever you couldn't sell, they send it back to you at your expense. So
Right.
that's what Troy Sneed taught me a long time ago. So there's a lot of tricks and things that people
Absolutely.
use, and you artists, you need to know these things. I know you got to concentrate on your music. I know you want the right producer. You want the right song. All that's important. You want your presentation to be wonderful. You want to have your $10,000 video, and you want to you want to be on the stage with Donnie McClurkin. But I promise you, I want Donnie McClurkin's check as well. I want the longevity. I want to have my business fixed. And Henry, one thing I learned about myself in the last 2.5 years was this was the ultimate test for me as to whether I had my business straight, because I
Yes.
haven't been singing in 2.5 years, literally, as an artist. I haven't released anything in a long time.
Right.
And to be able to see 8 checks a year, regardless of whether I sing again or not, to me is the ultimate determination. And if
And
I
it made a
build
difference.
upon that, that grows for my children and my grandchildren.
That is correct. It made a difference.
Absolutely.
That's what you want. Like you mentioned, Donnie McClurkin and some of these other artists and so forth. Yes, a lot of people are on social media, and a lot of people on different clubhouse calls and green room and all this other stuff. A lot of them have said, yeah, well, a lot of these artists are all of us are in just the same shape as everybody else. But the difference is, like you said, you may not be going out doing anything, and then the new artist may not be going out doing anything. But the difference is you're receiving 8 checks. The new artist is receiving 0 checks.
Yeah. And
And
there's
then
there's some artists that's been out there
Right.
for a while that's receiving 0 checks.
That's right. And then they come to us and they say, well, we can't figure out. We sold all these units, we did all of these things. Where's the money? Well, go ask your pro publisher.
Right.
Go ask CD Baby that you gave authorization to collect your money, and then see where your pro publisher money is. That's why
Right.
you gotta understand this. That's all. That's the bottom line that I think you're saying. What you're saying, what I'm saying, is that all we want is artists to understand the business of music,
And
not so
today,
much right.
yeah, and I'm sorry, I mean to interrupt you. And today we are appealing to that niche of people,
Right.
that niche of artists. Not all of you indie artists, because some of y'all, regardless of what we'll say, you'll say this is nice information and then go do what you had planned on doing all along.
Right.
But for that niche of artists that really want to bust through that open door and really want to be in a position where you know, which I believe you really want to be in, you need the knowledge and the information. You need to take the time to come to the IGAA. You need to register for the conference, and then after the conference is over, consider signing up for a program like what Henry has, Basic Foundations, because the conference is so much information it's going to make your head spin. So you
Right.
need somebody to help you to sort it all out. So I want to encourage you to sign up for strategicmp.org for a Basic Foundations class, and and see how it all goes together. And like I said, as they say in church, this word ain't for everybody, but for the 10 of you that will stand up and shout and run around the
Yeah.
church, just know that your miracle is on the way. Your
Yeah,
miracle
but
is
yeah,
on the way because you're going to be a participant, as I was preaching this morning, my morning devotion, being a participant in your miracle.
yeah,
It's important, you all. So if this is you, if you feel a burning in your soul, amen. We only have maybe 100 people every year. If there's a burning in your soul to sign up, you need to sign. It's $99, amen. Y'all spend $9,900 on a single. This is $99 to sign up for 2.5 days of information and a recording that you can go back and get anytime to really go back and study this stuff. I'm telling you, we have a subgroup called IGAA Hope, Henry. And IGA Hope, you've been a clinician, you've helped
yeah.
us.
Right.
IGA Hope, there are people in IGA Hope who are doing great and mighty things now since we've started in the last 2 years. And they are really charting their course. They may not be all we know from everybody, but they are really have a solid fan base and charting their course towards great success. And this is the time for the indie artists. I mean, you can be online, have a fan base, and be building your foundation at the same time. It's easier than it's ever been.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is easy. But here again, um, faith faith makes it possible, but not easy. But
Mm-hmm.
so it is easy to build a foundation, but you got to have that faith. But you also mentioned the fact that 10 people will stand up and run around the church and get happy, right? But then it comes down to this, Phil. We're gonna say, we'll say, well, where are the nine? Because only one of them was one of them was signed up, and then the other nine would be back there trying to find a fan. So, we want all 10. You want
Right.
all 10.
So look, I'm gonna let you go. I know you're taking care of your family. Let me ask you one question. I know a lot of people have this question right now. Let's look at an artist releasing a single or an EP, and they are looking at how to spend their money. Let's
Right,
say I have $2,500 to spend a month.
right.
Okay, what piece of that pie at this point goes towards radio?
Well, I mean, I got it. I
This is your
wouldn't be who.
opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, I wouldn't be who I am if I don't interject and make a comment on the single or the EP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wouldn't. In my professional opinion, I wouldn't put out a single. What I
Mm-hmm.
would do is I would take that new single and pair it up with maybe two or three of my old songs and make it an EP.
Got you.
Because that way, some of my good stuff that a lot of people hadn't heard before, it'll get a chance to be back in the new cycle. You can recycle the music. So that's number one thing. And then also a lot of people be looking and say, hey, I want my single to chart or whatever. In gospel, there's no single chart. There's no single sale chart. Okay. So it either has to be an album or an EP. Now, but as far as radio, if you only had $2,500, I would say maybe you should pay a group of volunteers to come together and put your radio strategic plan together and do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because um, that $2,500 towards radio ain't going to get you too far. Some people are going to want, you know, $1,100, $1,200 plus of that $2,500. And what you're stuck with, where's your marketing dollars? Are you going to have any money to go anywhere, do anything, or whatever? I think that you could put a radio team together and do radio, but if you're not looking to chase the charts and all of that, maybe at the minimum $500 or $600 of that $2,500 could go towards radio. At least getting you, out there.
Right.
That's just
Right.
my opinion.
Right. Well,
But
thank you for that. That's good
it's gonna
information.
it will cost much more than that because these guys, well, I won't say these guys, but these promoters out here not playing. I won't say it. There's a lady and that.
That's
They're not
correct.
playing.
You look. I wouldn't look, Henry. I wouldn't have you on here and put
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna
muzzle
tell
on
you.
you.
You know why I know they're not playing, Phil?
Go ahead.
Because you go back and look on social media, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them are my friends too. I'm not mad at them. Some of them are your friends.
That's correct.
But a lot of them was down in the Bahamas celebrating Kathy Hughes' birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Promoters.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, but somebody got to pay for it.
You just need to know. Look, you You just need to know. Look. I'll say this, and this makes me laugh every time I think about it. When I got started, I had a hit song, and when I was out, hiring promoters, of which I appreciate Tracy Artist to this day. She really helped
Right.
me. She helped me understand some things. But there were promoters who would take an independent product, right? Let's say you promote Shirley Caesar. Let's say Shirley Caesar has a product out, and Shirley Caesar, her label is paying you a lot of money to promote this product. So you'll take on 5 or 6 independent products, or 10. You'll take on 10 independent artists, and what you'll do is they will go to the promoter, they go to the DJ and say,
Right.
"Hey, I need you to look. I got this new Shirley Caesar record here. This is what I came to you for. And by the way."
Right. By the way, here's the other one.
Here's a bag of 10 artists,
Right.
and when you get time, look at those.
But you know how you know that's, and you're right. You know how that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the email blast,
Right.
that's why artists, you got to pay attention. If you look at an email blast that they sent out for the major artists that they're pushing,
Mm-hmm.
they have the other artists down at the bottom. They have pictures of their CD covers and say, yeah, these are other artists that we're working to.
Right,
but they're
right.
down at the bottom. A lot of people are not going to read through the whole email. They want to see who's up at the top.
That's it. You are exactly right. It's just like with a Spotify chart. If you're not in the top 6 or 10 or whatever, people they're very rarely going to scroll down to see who else is on that chart.
That's correct. They stop listening at some point.
Yeah.
Unless they got guests open, they just let it play. And then somebody may say, who is that? I don't know.
So listen, if somebody wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, they can always reach me. They can email me. My email address is hharris@strategicema.org. hharris@strategicema.org. That's my best email. You can reach me at.
Okay, make sure I got this right.
Yeah, this is strategic EMA. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah.
That's it.
So that's
Yeah,
how
that's
you can.
good stuff.
That's how you can reach Brother Harris if you would like his services. And he's always willing to help. But I encourage you to hire him and to use him. And I'll give an artist tip for all of you all. When you become a part of somebody else's financial picture, then they'll become a part of your career. They will buy into your career and
Yes.
into your situation because you are making an investment in them. And if they are the real deal, because they see what your investment is, they will make an investment in you that will go far beyond what you are paying them. Ask me how I know. I
That's
know
right.
for fact.
And you know, also, Phil, and then when they do that, if they see an opportunity that comes across their desk and they think about it, they say, oh, let me give that person a call. Let me send that out to them. I do it all the time.
Long after you've been paid
That's
because
correct.
of the relationship. And
Right.
this industry is all about relationships. Henry, I want to thank you, man, and I appreciate you for down through the years, all that you've done, all the great conversations we've had, the battles we fought. A lot of y'all don't know.
And we still
If
fighting them battles.
look, if but yeah, but it's we're in a better position now than we were
Yeah.
in back in the day.
Yeah.
If we wrote a book, y'all.
Yeah, well, you know, it's coming. Look, you see what's happening in the background. The podcast. I got to talk radio now, so as
Yeah.
soon as I start podcasting, everything's going to gear up pretty soon.
Well,
But
have me as a guest on your show, and
yeah,
we'll talk about it. And I
yeah, we'll
also want
talk
to
about the
mention,
real stuff.
yeah, and I also want to mention that you were, and you need to correct me if I'm wrong. You were one of the original internet gospel stations. Is that correct?
That's correct. We were
Spirit.
one of the Spirico One. We were one of the original back in the early 2000. I think it was 2001, 2000.
Yeah,
It was only like three or four of us.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and we helped everybody. We reached out and said, "Hey, why don't y'all do this? Why don't you do this?" Now you have all these stations out there. Now when I send them music, sometimes I don't even hear from them.
yeah.
But
Well, that's par for the course. We know that.
right, right.
We know that. You all, once again, IGA Conference, Strategic Music Partnerships. Sign up. You can go to indiegospelalliance.com. Henry, thank you again, man, and
Thanks for
please,
having me.
and please give my regards to your family. And your son is graduating. Is that correct?
Yeah, my son Jason is graduating with an MBA from
Yeah.
Purdue University. Matter of fact, we're headed that way this weekend.
Yes, I understand that. So, safe travels for you, and please tell him congratulations for all of us. Y'all, we're gonna play some testimonial videos and be out. Henry, thank you so much, man.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Y'all take care.
Okay, see you later.
Hi, I'm Mama Sue Roseberry. I attended my very first IGAA conference in 2019. What I learned caused my mind to be blown. There was so much valuable information presented by all of the industry professionals. It really helped to clear out a lot of the questions that I had as an independent gospel artist about the music business. And I mean the fundamental things I didn't know. And some things I didn't even know that I didn't know. But coming to the conference has helped me to grow by leaps and bounds. Now, you do want to be a winner, don't you? Well, if you do, then my suggestion is that you use whatever measures are necessary so that you can participate in the virtual IGAA conference. Come and meet those same industry professionals, network with other artists who are all like-minded and taking their business to the next level because of what we learned at the IGAA conference.
Hi, this is Robert E. Person. Look, I just want to chat with you for a few moments about the Independent Gospel Artists Alliance Conference, also known as the IGAA Conference. This summer marks the 12th annual conference, and it's the only music business conference specifically geared for the independent gospel and Christian artists. This July 7th through the 9th marks the 12th annual IGAA conference, and I'm proud to say that I have attended this conference each and every year since its inception. Every good business decision that I have ever made is a direct reflection of lessons learned from the IGAA conference. Our co-founders Earl Bynum and Philip Carter have assembled some of the best in the music business industry to facilitate this conference. This year, I will be facilitating a conversation about being an intentional artist. So please, join us virtually for the 12th annual IGAA conference, July 7th through the 9th. Look, we're crossing over. Get right or get left. You can register at indiegospelalliance.com.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Matthews with Yvonne Matthews Music, coming to just speak to you a moment about the Indie Gospel Alliance Association's conference that will take place this July. I was introduced by Earl Bynum to IGAA, and he invited me to attend the conference. Well, I became an artist right at the beginning of 2020, and right after that, the pandemic hit. Yes, I felt a little devastated, but this conference gave me new life and new hope when I got together and listened to the professionals who had so much good advice to give us. You know, the music business changes daily. It doesn't stay the same. And what they were bringing us was relevant, timely information to help us to save money, not to waste time. And I appreciated it. We had time to ask questions, hear the pitfalls that some of the other artists may have gone through, so we don't have to repeat the same mistakes. I was on track pretty well when I came to this conference, but I was empowered to do better. I'm so looking forward to this year's IGAA conference because as the music industry changes, I must change along with it to stay relevant. The ministry is important, the business is important. Meet me at IGAA conference July 7th through the 9th. I'll see you.